the US Open cares about the US Open, and for them, and in the words of Eric, they believe this is the best thing for the US Open. He acknowledged the history, the fact that, the history, they're messing with the history of the sport. He acknowledged that, but very much, and just to kind of give people the background before you jump in, Calv, as of, they're looking at the competition taking place over 2 days on August the 19th and 20th, just before the main draw singles. It has to finish on the Wednesday because, from what I understand, the top singles players have said they don't want to play after Wednesday. They've reduced the draw size from 32 to 16. 8 teams qualifying based on combined singles rankings and the remaining 8 receiving wildcard entries. Eric also acknowledged that most of them will be singles players in year one. Matches will be a shorter best of 3 sets format with tie breaks, and the final will be best of 3 sets played to 6 games. Prize money for the winners is increased to $1 million, $500,000 each. 10,000 each, I think, first round, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, something like that. Big money. ESPN have bought into it, got the broadcasting rights for it, and they're going for it. And if you listen to it in an isolated situation, it sounds like quite an exciting event. I'm not sure it sounds like a Grand Slam, but it sounds like quite an exciting event. As a doubles coach, which we both are, we're working with some of the top doubles players in the world. Obviously, we will look at it from that angle. But what is your angle, and how are you looking at this?
I think, first of all, there's no way it can be called a Grand Slam. It's not a Grand Slam anymore. And on the initial press release, when they referred to it as a Grand Slam title, you don't win a Grand Slam title over 2 days. Like it's a nonsense. You don't win a Grand Slam title when 50% of the field is wildcards. Like that's not what a Grand Slam title is. It's an exhibition event. Let's be straight up. It's an exhibition event. If they want to call it the US Open mixed doubles title, then fair enough. But it should not go in the record books as any sort of Grand Slam title. It takes away from everything that a Grand Slam title is. It would be it's not only a Grand Slam title. It's not even an ATP 250 title. Because it's four matches over 2 days where 50% of the field is wildcards. And you're taking away the best players in the world that play that format of the sport. It's a nonsense to call it that. Now, let's get into the other side of it. I do think it will bring a lot of attention to tennis from a media point of view. Like you say, ESPN have got it on, and anything that brings more attention to the game, and if it brings more attention to doubles in the weeks that follow, then I'm all on board with it. I think there's also a conversation to be had about the wider scale changes that they've made to the doubles at the US Open. And I think there's 2 ways of looking at that. Now, if I'm going to look at it from a positive point of view and take the USTA's word for it and the US Open's word for it, I don't think on that side, I don't think it's necessarily a bad move. What you have at the slams, as we've just seen here now, and we see a lot, is that you've got a hell of a lot of tennis in the first week and not much tennis in the second week, especially going on the outdoor courts. And that's kind of top loaded. And if they're thinking of a way, look, there's no reason why we can't run the doubles from Friday until Saturday or Friday until Sunday, and we can get more people watching the doubles in the second week. We can offer people more to watch than just junior tennis on the second week. And it can bring more eyes onto the doubles game. I think that's excellent. Now, what I want is assurances that they're not messing around with the actual doubles draws and the makeup of the draws and the prize money and the other things such as accommodation days, how many rooms they're getting, that kind of thing. If they're not going to mess with that, then I'm kind of on board with that. I think that's not a bad move in order to bring eyes to the doubles. You're basically going to have no doubles in the first week, though, other than, Friday you're going to have. There's also an argument that the mixed doubles really is an exhibition event anyway, and they're just changing it. There's no ranking points available for mixed doubles, which kind of makes it in one way or another an exhibition event. There's only 4 of them in a year, if they had done this in a way where they had, I could get on board with this whole thing if they'd have gone, it's 8 players, the draw's made up of 8 pairs of doubles rankings and 8 wildcards, and they were going to be singles players. I could get well on board with it. I can't get on board with them saying it's 8 pairs of singles players and then another 8 wildcards, most of which will be singles players. That's, to me, again, we come back to this situation of what is a meritocracy. Sport is supposed to be a meritocracy, and this is what annoys me when they start talking about filling the draws up with singles players in doubles. We need to get more singles players in. Singles players can enter. They can enter. They just don't win. They can't beat the doubles players. Like, if you want more singles players in the later stages of doubles draws, they have to win tennis matches. That's the way it works. That's the way a meritocracy works. That's the way sport works. You don't do it by going, we don't like these players who are winning. The wrong players are winning, so we're going to take them out. That's not how a sport works. It wouldn't work that wouldn't be how any other sport operates. And at the crux of it, this whole debate about doubles, whether it be saying you get people like Riley Opelka saying we need to get rid of doubles, it doesn't bring anything to the sport. What they mean is they can't win at it. They're not winning enough at it, and they don't think these other people who they don't rate should be getting the money. And that's not how sport works. If you want to take the doubles players out, then get somebody to beat them. Don't just take them out of the draw.
So the couple of things just to pick up on that, Calv. One thing that Eric did say is, and actually that I said then as well to him is, this is disruption, right? This is the first step of disruption. Whenever there's the first step of disruption, people don't like it because people don't like change. Now, Eric gave assurances that the 600, and I believe he'd spoken to a couple of the players on this already, assurances that the money taken out of the mixed doubles, the classical mixed doubles, as of 2026 was going to move into the doubles, the same-sex doubles prize money.
Okay.
Which I think, again, if it happens, let's wait and see. But I think that is something. He also said in year one he just has to. He has to have what he can't have, and I can understand this. He can't have primetime ESPN Wednesday night. And I don't even want to say names because I don't want to be disrespectful because it's people that we work with or closely against. But having 4 names that people don't know. You know, if it has Alcaraz and Swiatek against Heliövaara, Danilina, that's okay. That's gonna that satisfies the broadcaster's need.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but for them, they really feel they need, I believe, in this first year. And I guess for me, it's a little bit of a wait and see, right? Because I've thought about this quite a lot the last few days, and it's like, I don't know many players that respected the mixed doubles. And I'm hearing a lot of players jump up now and saying about the mixed doubles, whereas actually they turn up on the day saying, oh, by the way, have you got a partner? They haven't given it any thought. They haven't given it any thought. And then I know when I was working with Harri, when Harri won the 2023 US Open, and for me, it was just the most amazing experience, you know, and for them as well. But then when I was speaking like afterwards and on the WhatsApp groups, the amount of people saying, that's not a Grand Slam. Yeah, that's not a Grand Slam. That's not a Grand Slam. You know, Jamie Murray's won 7 Grand Slams. No, he hasn't. He hasn't won 7 Grand Slams. You know, like you hear a lot of that chat, right? So at the same time, and you've picked it up, it's and I guess where I've got to with a lot of these things, it's like we all live in our own confirmation bias worlds, and it's like ultimately we're all seeing it from our own view. Yet there's a lot of views in tennis, and actually, I came away from the conversation with Eric being like, he probably doesn't, and Eric's a lovely guy, but it's not his job to give a shit about marketing doubles players and their place in tennis.
It's not. I don't know. Maybe it's not Eric's job. It's some people's job.
It's the tours, though. It's the ATP and WTA tour.
And also, but also
that's the issue with the fragmentation, right?
But also, people like Eric and Ross, they need to understand why they're in the positions that they are in. What was the first rung on their ladder?
Absolutely, and that's let's see how this develops. I don't like it. There's parts of it I don't mind. There's parts of it I don't mind at all. I think I probably was a little bit at first like, well, that's just ridiculous and da. But having thought about it, personally, I'm quite looking forward to watching it. I don't know if any of my players will be a part of it. We'll certainly be trying to be. And I've been on the phone to Carlos Alcaraz. I've been on the phone to Arina Sabalenka over the last couple. I haven't, but if I had the number, I would be, because you can guarantee if you get them as a partner, you're in, right? That's a little bit of any doubles players listening. Do not ask another doubles player. That ain't happening. If you want to get in this event, you need to be locking in a top star name.
I think as well, though, Kiernan, I think there's other things that we haven't taken that no one's mentioned. Like, this is terrible for like Winston-Salem, the tournament before it.
Oh yeah, it is. It has. Well, that's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's somebody said to me the other day, it's 10 times the amount of money for winning Winston-Salem.
Yep.
I think Winston-Salem's $100,000. This is $1.15 million, isn't it? Something like that. Like it's crazy, and I don't know what the women's tournaments are that week. I think there's 2 women's tournaments that week. Cleveland, right? Yeah. Okay. It's terrible for those tournaments because they're now basically. I mean, having said that, I don't know how many of the top 10 guys play them, but then again, I'm still dubious about. Maybe the first year will be different. I'm interested in 3 years' time to see how many of the top 10 players in the world are playing mixed doubles for 2 days, 3 days before a major starts.
Yeah, I think they'll attract big names for this one.
I think they will. I think they will, and I think that they're probably going to. There's the prize money, and there's probably some more money going in as well that we don't know about.
Yeah, and this has been talked about since 2021. So last year they did a trial without saying it was a trial. I don't remember, there was the mixed doubles madness or whatever it was.
I think overall my position on it is, if you tell me now this won't affect the rest, this won't affect the doubles at the slam. There's no plans to change anything there other than we'll start it on the Friday. You'll arrive, most players will start arriving there Tuesday, I guess, Monday or Tuesday. There's no plans to change anything. The doubles will stay the same. We're committed to making the men's and the women's doubles quality events, how they're run now, with no changes in draw makeups, no changes in prize money, no changes in draw sizes. Then I can approach this mixed doubles situation from a different eye and go, okay, if that's the payoff, it's the mixed doubles is, for all intents and purposes, a nice exhibition. And if that's what we lose in order to safeguard the rest of the game, the actual sport, then I can swallow that. If somebody's going, well, we'll see how it goes, then I'm like, no, this is then we're talking about sport not becoming a meritocracy. If you're looking, and again, what we're looking to do, and I think this is the only thing that grinds me on it, is, like I say, is the makeup of the draw, because we're not having a meritocracy. We're just finding a way to get more money to the players who already make the most money. And that's not how sport should be. You should have to earn your money. And they do earn it. They do earn a lot of money by being the best singles players in the world. They can do without somebody going, here's another $1 million that we're going to not allow somebody else to get.
Calvin, Betton, it's always a pleasure having you on the pod.